doing that. Like, I don't know who these people are out here. And we're back with another video. Now this highly requested video was actually requested by about 2 people. 3 people actually requested this video. So I'm gonna go ahead and deliver. On this channel, we talk about food, fitness, and fun, and everything else in between. So today's gonna be a little bit of fun, a little bit of craziness, a lot of shenanigans, and so I hope you enjoy. Today I am going to be doing a Storytime sleigh again. So I'm just going to be doing a little bit of whatever it is I do with makeup. I'm going to be doing that while also telling the story of Donut Dan and my times at LA Fitness. I'm going to be using a lot of the same products, probably most of the same products that I used in my last video. I use a lot of Fenty Beauty. I use a lot of Rihanna stuff, so I'm gonna be using her powders, her foundation, and then I love this. I'm gonna remember to put on my Wonki Luxe mascara today, so I'm excited about that. Now this story actually happened at a different LA Fitness. It was not the same one that Bear was at. Just gonna prep my face real quick. It was at least a year after the whole Bear situation, and I was at a different LA Fitness, and I had already kind of done my lifting and my training for the day, and so I always did cardio at the end. So that day I just happened to need to go on the stairmaster for my cardio, so I really, I don't mind the stairmaster, but the thing is, I think I had 45 minutes or something that I had to do on there, and at the time I was really trying to structure my training a lot better than I had previously. So in my last story time when I was talking about Bear and all of that, I really did not have structure in the gym. I was really just kind of doing whatever and not really thinking about it. That wasn't working for me, obviously. I actually started doing some structured workouts, and a lot of it I just kind of looked up on my own, and what's the best way to train to build muscle and to lose fat, or I would look into just some free videos and stuff online just to see how to build a basic program kind of on my own. So I don't remember exactly what I was doing that day, but I remember I always did my heavy lifting and my training first, and then cardio was always after. So I finished my lifting session, and that day I just happened to have to do the stairmaster. So I went upstairs and, definitely did not really feel like talking to anybody. I was definitely less outwardly friendly at the gym. I was definitely more just to myself, don't bug me. I'm just here to work out, and that's it. And so I really didn't talk to people at this gym. I really just kind of went in there, did what I needed to do, and got out. So my stairmaster was the one that was on the way far end next to the wall. So it was in the corner, nobody else was really over there at the time, and so it was perfect. I did not want to be bothered. I just wanted to get in, get out. So I claimed my little corner machine, and I turned on, I'm sure I turned on a YouTube video or something, or some music or something like that, and just kind of got into the zone. It was maybe, I wasn't even halfway done when this guy, who I had seen there before, but just never really, there was no waving, there was no saying hi or anything. I had just seen him there before. He sees me as he's walking up the stairs. So he's literally walking up the stairs, and this is what I see. And I'm like, okay, that was weird. So he comes all the way around. Now remember, I'm in the corner. He comes all the way around, passes all the treadmills, passes the rowing machine, passes everything, and comes right next to me. There was nobody using the stairmaster. I was the only one using the stairmaster in the corner. He walks past all those open stairmasters and comes to the one right next to me. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness. I really just wasn't in the mood. I just wanted to get in and get out. I didn't want to talk to anybody. he gets on, he's getting on the stairmaster, and you can tell when somebody's about to talk to you. Like, if they're talking to themselves already, like, you know they're probably gonna also talk to you. So he's getting on the stairmaster and he's like, all right, what am I gonna do here? Like, okay, let me see, like, what am I gonna do here? What am I gonna do here? And so he's like, woo! So he's pushed some buttons and then he started going. And I'm facing forward, like I'm trying not to, for the life of me, make any eye contact with this guy. I could just tell, he was looking. So he's like, he's on the stairmaster and he's like, and I could see, in my peripheral vision, I could see that he was turning his head like with every step. And I didn't say anything. And so this went on for, a couple minutes until finally, like, I settled down and I was like, okay, I think we're good. I think we're good with silence. I think I'm gonna be okay. And then I see him swing his head. Hey! And I'm like, just when I thought I could escape. And so I had my headphones in, so you knew I was like purposefully like in the zone. And so I kind of turned and I'm like, hi. And then he's like, hi. And I'm just like, so I turned back and, focusing on, not falling off the stairs basically. And he's like, how's it going? And I'm like, this guy is really trying to start a conversation. And I thought a couple different thoughts over the span of like 10 seconds. When you have those moments where you're like, you think a lot at one time, but not that much time has passed. So that's what happened, where he was like, how's it going? And I'm like, oh, this guy like wants to talk to me. I really don't want to deal with him. I've been kind of ignoring him this whole time. Like every time he turned his head, like I literally just ignored him. And I'm like, so maybe that's mean, but I don't really care. I don't really feel like talking to anybody right now. And I said, so what do I do in this situation? I said, well, I could always just tell him, hey, I kind of just want to finish my cardio and be done. Like, I don't really want to talk. I can always just say that. So I made that decision over the span of like 0.4 seconds. And I said, yeah, it's going all right. Just trying to get this done. Like this cardio, like trying to get this done. And he's like, oh yeah, I just started, but yeah, you've been on there a while. And I looked and I'm like, yeah, just trying to get it done and get out of here. And he's like, oh yeah, I totally get it. I don't want to bother you, but yeah, I see you around here, and I saw you training and stuff, and yeah, you just seem like a really cool person. I was kind of like, thanks, I try to be a cool person. I don't know, but thanks. I need my powder. And then he says, so what's your name? And again, I have that moment where I'm like, this guy, he's very like perky, like he's very like uppity. But there was something about him and I couldn't really pinpoint it. Like he was almost like too excited to talk to me, even though I had never met him before. I had only seen him like, he was like a newer member of the gym, because again, that was a gym I started going to like all the time, and I had only seen him there like twice, maybe 2 or 3 times before. So, and he just seemed a little too like excited to talk to me. But then I'm like, okay, Brandy, like he's kind of a stringy looking guy. Like maybe he's trying to, build up his confidence. Maybe he's trying to get to know people in this gym. Like maybe he's really trying to just be nice, right? And I said, my name is Brandy. And he goes, oh, okay, I'm Donut Dan. And I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, I really like this gym. It seems like there's a lot of cool people here. And I'm like, okay, he's just an extrovert. He's one of those extroverts that I'm still studying and like learning to understand and like comprehend. And I'm like, yeah, this gym's pretty cool. I've been coming here for, I think it had been about a year, like I said. And so at this point, one of my headphones came out. Like this, I actually did take this one out. So I didn't think anything of this conversation. I just thought, okay, he's a new member of the gym. I don't want to be a jerk and like discourage him from coming here. You know, he's just asking really basic questions, like not a big deal. It was just like, I didn't really want to talk that day, but when I kind of got the vibes from this guy, like he's this stringy guy who just joined this gym and he's obviously very talkative. I didn't want to be the person who was like a jerk towards him, if that makes sense. I'm like, I don't want to be a jerk in a normal interaction with a new member of the gym. Now, for the makeup, I'm not sure what I want to do like on the eyes and stuff. This might end up being a bit of a train wreck because I'm not super great with eyeshadows and whatnot. Okay, so we're just gonna wing this eye makeup. I'm gonna try to use like a neutral, base color on the lid and then just layer some fancy stuff on top of that. So anyway, we actually got into a bit of conversation. Like he was talking about how he joined the gym. He was kind of talking about what some of his goals were as far as like putting on muscle and trying to gain weight and like stuff that he is trying to figure out like what to do. So he was kind of like, yeah, you really seem like the kind of person who knows what you're doing. It seems like you know how to train. It seems like you know what to eat for your body and whatnot. He's like, you know, you really look great. And I was like, oh, well, thanks. And like, you know, I don't have it all figured out, but I definitely have things more figured out than I did a few years ago, which is nice. And so he's like, yeah, I'm trying to just figure out how to put on weight and like put on muscle and not look so skinny. I don't want to look so skinny. I said, you know, you do what you want, but I think it's always better when a person puts on solid muscle instead of just eating like crap and putting on a lot of fat. And he's like, yeah. And that's the thing, is like, I definitely don't want to put on fat. Like, I don't want like a beer belly, you know? But I just want to put on muscle. And so I said, yeah, I get it. I said, I think it's just going to be a bit of a waiting game if you want to do it the healthy way. And he's like, yeah, I for sure want to do it the healthy way. Like, I feel really encouraged about all this. I'm like, okay, this guy is like a little nerdy, but I feel like I remember him having on like a band t-shirt. Like he had on like a Metallica shirt or like Led Zeppelin or something like that. And he had like a little chain on his, what was it? Like on the pocket of his shorts or something. Like he had something that told me like he's a nerd, but he's a little bit like rock and roll too. So to me, it was kind of like cute. It was like this little stringy man like comes in here and he's like metal. Like, no. It was just like, it's like, aw, like you're a hard rock guy. Aw, that's so cute. Like, I just felt like, come on. But yeah, his outfit definitely didn't match like his personality or his voice. Hey! And so I don't know. I'm not trying to be mean, but it just struck me as like, you just kind of wanted to pat him on the head and say like, oh, okay. It was actually like an enjoyable conversation. So we were talking about just like how I eat and like some of the recipes and stuff that I make for myself. Fresh produce and salads and quick rice and protein sources and stuff like that. He was really, you know, just interested in it and like just how affordable I try to make my food and everything like that, and just meal prepping, not spending all day in the kitchen and stuff, because that was something that like he didn't want to do either. It was stuff I enjoyed talking about. Whatever I told him I was doing, he felt like that was like helping him and encouraging him. Like, don't try not to think too much about it. Just make it part of your routine. Make it part of your lifestyle. And he was like, yeah. And it's like he gained 5 pounds just with me like talking to him. Like he felt so like, I could tell his demeanor shifted a little bit. He became a little bit less like shy and dorky. And so, yeah, I mean, it was a good conversation. And so he's like, yeah, you seem like a really cool person. And I was like, thanks. And he's like, would you be open to hanging out sometime? Hear me out on this. Here's my thought. So a little bit of a backstory as to why I had this thought. After the whole situation with Bear and just a couple dates that I had been on that were just like horrific after that, I was so much more introverted than I already was. And so it's like I didn't want to date, I didn't want to deal with people, I just wanted to like really focus on me and like my health and my fitness and like all that kind of stuff. And so one of my girlfriends from church, she had said, what would it be like if you just went out with a guy? Maybe like the first time you meet somebody, you guys just agree to like just hang out. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like, I don't know who these people are out here. Like, I'm not doing that. And she's like, well, what if you met somebody at church, or what if you met somebody at the gym? Like, why don't you like just try? And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. And so as soon as he said, well, maybe we could hang out sometime, that whole conversation I had with this friend, like, went through my mind. And I was like, yeah. And to be completely honest, I had already been hanging out with people like at church and everything. All right, I need to figure out what I'm doing with my eyes though. So I have this eyeshadow palette and I really am not sure about it. One of the colors broke and so it kind of spread everywhere, but I usually just use these 3 colors in the middle here. This is a very old palette, but it's the only one that I kind of know what to work with, so I don't want this makeup look to be like a complete disaster. So I'm trying to kind of stick with stuff I know. Back to the story. I had already been kind of hanging out with people from church, like guys and girls, mixed groups of people, stuff like that. So I had already had like a general level of acquaintances and a very small circle of friends within my church group. And so my friend was just saying like, yeah, why don't you just try, like, what if you meet somebody at the gym, or what if you meet somebody like while you're out at a coffee shop or something? Why don't you just like go for it and just one date? And so I'm like, ugh, like she was that friend, I love her, like she's a really good friend, and she was just, you know, trying to be helpful. So yeah, that whole conversation flashed through my brain as this guy was saying, why don't we hang out sometime? And I just said, I'd be open to that. And he's like, really? And I said, yeah, sure. He's like, oh great, can I get your number? And I was like, okay, am I really about to do this? So I said, okay, because there's always the block button. There's always the block button. Am I recording? Yes. So I gave Donut Dan my number, and what I did like about this whole interaction of the phone numbers is that he did ask me, okay, how do you spell your name? Before he put it in his phone, he did ask me. I did really like that because a lot of people will just like assume that I spell my name B-R-A-N-D-Y or like B-R-A-N-D-I or something like that. And that's fine if like that's how other brandies spell their name, but my name is B-R-A-N-D-I-E. So I did appreciate that he took the time to ask before he stepped incorrect, right? I appreciated that. I don't know. I mean, he wasn't like, I always say that I don't have a type, but man, the more guys I ran into who were not my type, it was just like, wow, what's happening? But anyway, I mean, he truly was harmless. Like, Bear was definitely a little bit more like, I don't want to say dangerous, but he was definitely just more creepy than Donut Dan. But Donut Dan was just truly harmless, so I actually felt, you know, okay giving him my number. So he puts my number in his phone, spells my name correctly, and then he says, I'm gonna text you right now so you have my number. And I'm like, okay, like, I think he was trying to make sure I didn't give him a fake number is what I think it was, because it was just how it's like he put the number in and then he's like, I'm gonna text you my number right now so you have my number. It was just the way he said it, where he was like, I have to get her while she's here in case she gave me a fake number. And I was like, okay. He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So he texted me, this is Donut Dan. And I'm like, okay, I got it. He's like, yeah, we'll definitely hang out. And so I think after that, we talked for just like a couple more minutes or so. And then, oh, I just dropped this. I just dropped some eyeshadow powder on the floor. This is what happens when you have dusty eyeshadow, like literally crumbly, dusty eyeshadow. It just freaking spills. It's in the butt cracks of the floor. My wood laminate flooring. Very expensive. So, Donut Dan. So we talked a few more minutes after that. And then he ended up leaving and I stayed to finish up my cardio. And, you know, I actually wasn't mad. I was actually glad that, you know, I took some time to talk to him because it was a good conversation. And so after that, I think I had some errands to run or something like that. And so I ran some errands and then I went back home. And later that evening, he had texted me and he was just like, hey, it's Donut Dan. It was really good talking to you today. Like, I'm glad I met you. You're very nice. And, you know, I'm happy to be at this gym, to know that, you know, somebody like you is there and just who's really nice and I can talk to. And I was kind of like, that's nice. Like, that was a nice text. I responded, you know, just very generic, like, oh, it was nice to meet you too. Like, I'm sure you're gonna meet your fitness goals. Just keep it up and like stay dedicated. And so he was like, yeah, thank you. Like, are you still interested in hanging out? And I was like, taking chances and letting people hang out with you and like being nice to strangers and all these things that my friend had told me. I was like, sure, you know, we can try to coordinate something. And just, I'm naturally just very guarded. I am very guarded. Like, I've had some experiences, y'all, and I'm just like naturally just like, who are you? And like, what do you want? So this guy who I just met, I was not too keen on like putting something in ink on the calendar, but I didn't want to discourage someone who just genuinely seemed like he just wanted to meet people and like get to know people and not feel like he was alone and not knowing what he was doing in the gym. And I said, yeah, sure, we could try to, you know, figure something out. And he's like, what would you like to do? And I thought that was really sweet because I like where if a guy doesn't know me, if he wants to like involve me in like planning things, especially like if you don't know me at all, showing interest that you want me to enjoy the thing instead of just, okay, well, this is what we're gonna do. Like, I'm not a huge fan of that. And so I was like, yeah, you know, we could go out for coffee or tea. We could meet up at the mall or something, you know, something very public and something with just like stuff going on constantly. So it's not like we're sitting down and like staring at each other over a 5-course meal or something. Like, this is just getting to know you. Hey, what's up? Welcome to the gym. Like, and that's kind of where my intentions stopped because still, like, I didn't know this guy. I want to make sure that our first meeting is very public with stuff going on and that it's far enough away from my actual home. So I knew about this coffee place. It was just kind of like a little hippie cool joint where they have like specialty coffees similar to Starbucks, but they had some like more fancy flavors like lavender and like herbal infusions and stuff that they would do. It was always a very busy and like happening place. And it was far enough away from my house. And it was still close enough to him and like where he was coming from. So I said, hey, like, why don't we go to this coffee place? I don't think he had heard of it before, or if he did hear of it, he had like never been there before. So I thought it could be kind of like a cool experience for him to try someplace new. So he was totally open to it. And this is all on text. So we're texting. We're not actually like talking on the phone. So this conversation is all happening via text. He texts back, "Hey, that place sounds really cool, but I have a situation with getting a ride. So would you mind picking me up?" And I was like, I'm looking at my phone like, what? I didn't respond because I was like, why would he say it like that? Why would he say, "I'm having a problem," or "I have a situation about getting a ride"? He said something like that. Why wouldn't he just say like, "I don't have a car," or like, "My car's in the shop," or something about that, you know? And I was kind of like, it was just the way he said it was like very much like yellow flag to me. And so I'm like, this dude really expects me to like go to his house or wherever it is he resides and like pick him up for like a meeting. Like I'm not comfortable with that kind of thing. And so I didn't respond, but then he's texting again and he says, and also the other thing is, I'm a little low on cash, so would you mind going to Dunkin' Donuts and maybe paying? And I'm like, what? And he says this like in a text. Like he actually wrote it out in a text message and actually sent this to me. Bro, like you want me to, first of all, pick you up for a meeting, like a hangout. You want me to go and pick you up in my car to some undisclosed location that you live and pick you up. And then you want me to take you in my car to Dunkin' Donuts, and you want me to pay for your donuts and for your coffee at Dunkin' Donuts. Like, bro, are you serious? Now, I know for a fact that the bougie coffee place I picked, like, yeah, they have like $7 coffees. Yeah, okay, I know, that's expensive for coffee, so I get it. But like, if you can't afford that, then that's fine, but don't like ask me to pay. Like, he asked me to pay for Dunkin' Donuts instead of just saying like, hey, I'm kind of on a budget. Like, I respect budgets. Like, I'm on a budget. So if a dude is saying that like he's trying to work on his finances and that he has a set budget and that this might be outside of his budget, like, I respect that. And if he were to recommend like another place, that's totally fine. But don't ask me to pick you up for the first time meeting you outside of the gym and then ask me to pay for your donut and your coffee. Like, are you for real? I'm just sitting there like not responding, and he's like texting, like, and he keeps sending like these texts like, I'm so sorry about this, like, I just need to get a little bit more money and then I can take you out. And it's like, I was not expecting him to pay for anything. Like, whenever I would go on dates with guys, like, I did not, like, first dates, I didn't expect them to like buy my Starbucks or any, like, I never put that expectation. Like, it's always nice when a guy does, like, it's a very gentleman thing to do, but I'm just not the girl who like expects that. Now, like, if I really am like vibing with you, like I really like you, and then like the guy really liked me, then yeah, it's kind of like, ooh, I hope he like buys my drink or whatever, you know? But for Donut Dan, I did not have any expectation for him to buy my $7 almond milk latte with sugar-free vanilla. I'm the girl who just doesn't know when a guy likes her like that. So when it finally kind of clicked into me, like, this guy actually like wants to pursue me in some way, but it was like, I realized, oh, he's actually like trying to pursue me right now, and I'm just like not interested, especially after this text conversation. And so he's like, oh, you know, I just need to like figure out how to get some money, and then like I can take you out next time and this and that. But yeah, if you could just pick me up and then like we could run the Dunkin' Donuts, and then if you could just pay this time, like that would be great. And he's texting all this like Bro, like you really have the wrong one today. You're texting the wrong one today. I'm gonna put this mascara on because Donut Dan just really re-triggered me today. And at this point, I still haven't responded to him. I need a mirror. Here we go. I think I was just standing in the kitchen like watching these text messages come in. Like, I can't believe this dude just asked me to pick him up. Like I'm his mama picking him up from school to go take him to hang out with his friends and to pay for his Dunkin' Donuts. I finally responded and I waited a little bit because I just, you know, the guy, man, I didn't want to be mean to him because he wasn't the kind of guy where like you have to be mean to. His demeanor was very sweet. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but he wasn't like a jerk. He wasn't like somebody who you just have to say, leave me alone, don't bother me, like don't ever contact me again kind of person. He was very like, yeah, like very like easily excitable and just like couldn't quite pinpoint him. But he had on that Metallica t-shirt, I tell you what, so he was a little bit heavy metal. And I just said, yeah, you know, I hope you get everything figured out with like the car situation and, you know, with the money and stuff, but I'm not interested in like driving to your house, and I'm not really interested in going to Dunkin' Donuts after all the like nutrition and health conversations we had. So I think I'm gonna just pass on this. And immediately he starts texting. And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry about this. Like, just give me a chance. Like, I'll cover everything next time. You know, it's not really about paying at the end of the day. It's about, I'm not comfortable coming to your house for the first time and like picking you up. Like, I'm really not comfortable with that. I want to separately meet at a central location and then us each leave separately. That's what I am comfortable with. And so I kind of laid that out in the text message. I said, no, this is not going to work out. And then back then I had a different phone, and I believe I saw something at the bottom saying like Donut Dan is typing. And I was like, is he really like still trying to convince me at this point? He said something like, oh, I'm so sorry about this, but please. And he kept saying like, please and please. And I was just like, oh, like this is no, like this is not, no, like no. And I'm 99% sure that I blocked him after that because I had already said no. Like I had already ended this thing before it began again. And I was just like, well, I'm glad that that's over. Ding, ding, ding. And so poor Donut Dan did not get donuts from me on that day or any day. And so when I went back to the gym, I actually feel a little bit bad for the guy, but it was creepy. It was creepy, like when he got into the please and this and that, and after I had already clearly said no, and he was still like trying to convince me. Like it only took like 1 or 2 text messages of that for me to just be like, oh no, like no. Then another time I saw him at the gym. Oh man, I need to put on a lippy. I saw him at the gym. This is that Shea Moisture lipstick that I used in the last story time in Toffee. I saw him at the gym, just kind of in passing, and I had like just finished using a machine. I got up off the machine, bent over to get my stuff, and I look up and I see Donut Dan like walking like this, and he's like, I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, what is he doing? Why is he making that face? So I but it's just, I wish you could have seen his face. If you've ever seen Dexter's Lab on Cartoon Network, and you know whenever Dexter gets like emotional or sad, like he makes this face. That was the face Donut Dan made, only Donut Dan was a little bit taller than me and just very, very skinny. Like Dexter is short and round, but Donut Dan was like a little taller than me and just very skinny. And when he made that face, I was like, what are you doing? Oh man. I mean, I'm sure he was fine and just being dramatic, but man, that face just cracked me up. Probably trying to make me feel bad because dude was like, no money, no car, and like I wouldn't pick him up and pay for his donuts. Like, bro, you better get out of here, dude. Like, and take your Metallica t-shirt sad face somewhere else. So that was the tale of Donut Dan. After that puppy face experience, I maybe saw him like a couple other times, and then I didn't see him anymore after that. I don't know. I'd be scaring these guys out the gym. Just kidding. But yeah, so that was Donut Dan. I mean, I hope he got as jacked as he wanted to get and all his muscles, and I hope he found somebody who he can make puppy dog eyes to now. So I mean, he was a nice guy. He was just not, I mean, as far as like romantic, like it's just like, ooh. If I think about if I had gone on like an actual date with him, it's just kind of like, ooh, it doesn't sit well thinking about it. It makes me itch. Did you see that? It makes me itch, like, ooh, nah, dude, nah. That's Donut Dan. Didn't work out with them, obviously. So I hope y'all enjoyed this story time. I hope you enjoyed the full beat again. I don't know if you can even tell, but I used a couple more colors on the eyes up here. It's a little more sparkly. That's how we do it. That's how we do it. So if you enjoyed this story time, definitely let me know. Leave a like, leave a comment down below. Let me know, was I too hard on Donut Dan? Was I mean to him? I think I tried to be nice, but yeah, that whole text conversation really just, nope, it was a no. It was a no from me, dog. So yeah, leave me a comment. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. I have some other videos coming up very, very soon. And so I hope you guys will subscribe to my channel and click the little notification bell so that you know whenever the videos go live. I've been doing pretty well with posting regularly, so I hope you've been enjoying the content, and thank you to everyone who has already subscribed. I really appreciate it, and I'm glad that you're enjoying the content. So if you are not subscribed, what you waiting for? Okay, so subscribe and leave me a comment, and yeah, there will be more videos on the way. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I am also crazy over on that side of the internet, so be sure to follow me over there for more shenanigans and more nonsense, more food and more fitness and more craziness. And yeah, let's have a party on social media. I've been having fun posting like reels and stuff of my workouts and some stuff about like recipes that I make and different foods that I eat. So I've been having a good time over there. So be sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok and subscribe to the channel. And thank you for watching, and bye! So this is my little llama. He has a little attitude. Look at him with his face. He's super cute though. What you mad about? What you mad about?